Hey guys, welcome to another video. Alright, in this video it's going to be that second series, our second episode of the heat-loving crops that we could actually grow in our gardens. Alright, so let's get right into that video. Alright guys, if you never heard of chaya before, you're probably not alone, but this plant might be one of those easiest leafy greens you could actually grow in a warm climate, hot climate, subtropical areas. It's fast growing, heat tolerant, packed with nutrients, and once you establish it, it just keep producing almost year round, especially in warmer areas, subtropical areas. All right, today we're going to be talking about chaya and how we grow it, how we cook it safely, and why so many gardeners call it a survival plant or the tree spinach. Honestly, once you start growing this, I wonder why more people are actually not growing this leafy green, the tree spinach. Trees I have multiple plants here. Our trees, it can grow very tall. Sometimes it's even the height of that home there, and I cut it right back. But since we coming out of that rough winter, it died back, and just push all that new growth. We have another plant over here, So let's get right into the deep part of why you should grow this. Chaya, which is also known as tree spinach, is a perennial leafy greens. Let me say that again. It's a perennial leafy greens. Unlike regular spinach that struggle. Spinach on the whole, you probably can't even grow spinach in Florida. It would definitely struggle in the heat. Chaya actually just grow like a weed. Literally, guys, it grows like a weed here in Florida. Loves that humid, hot weather. So and one of the easiest part about this, you don't need to be watering it or fertilizing it and none of that stuff. You just plant that stuck a cutting in the ground, and that's it, guys. I'm telling you, the plant can grow large, as I just said to you. It can sometimes grow to the height of my neighbor's house there. The height, it serves as this area sometimes. So that's one of the plus side. It could serve as a barrier, like a yard barrier or a shrub barrier to block out your neighbors. I usually does that too. So it loves the heat, and it will grow on total neglect. What I love about chaya is that low maintenance. A lot of us, what do they call it, the lazy gardening method. You just plant something and leave it. Once you actually plant it, it's just you just leave it. It's drought tolerant, heat tolerant, everything. Heavy rains, you get heavy rains is a big plus. It just grow you might be surprised that you could actually grow this zone 8, 9, 10, 10, 11. Perfect. It's gonna grow beautifully in those zones. So whether you're in the Caribbean, Texas, Florida, Arizona, and the parts of the Gulf Coast, this is gonna grow beautifully. It loves full sun. Once the root gets established, it just grows. Let me just show you something how easy this is. Sometimes you drop, like I do, chop and drop a lot, and the cuttings could just fall on the ground and it start growing. Let me show you something right here. Look. Let me show you. See this leaf right here on the ground? Right here. This is a chaya, probably chop and drop. Yep. Let me show you other stuff where it's just so easy to grow. I threw some cuttings here in this container, and look, it just start growing. Easy to when I mean easy, you could have stuck it in the ground, no care whatsoever. Low maintenance. This is a real lazy gardener method of growing. Let's show you some more that we have over here. We have another plant right here. That's growing in everything here. And it's growing beautifully right here too. Yep. Here, guys, look. So I have some in a container here. It's so easy to grow from a cutting. You simply just take, let me just pull it so I can show you how simple it is. Look at this, guys. This is a piece of cutting stuck in a container. It stayed in here all winter. Pretty. Look how nice these roots look. Yeah, beautiful looking roots. So one thing, chaya seems like sometimes it love well-drained soil, but I think it could grow in any soil, seriously, you know. Yeah. I don't water my chaya. We don't do nothing to it here. We just actually sit. Even this plant now could actually put over in the back part of my food forest, which I'm gonna do that later today. In the rainy season, this plant right now, guys, this tree shrub, within maybe 2 months, look where it is right here, the fence. It's gonna be above all of this right here. That room to spread. So normally I'm gonna show you, there's two trees right here, one here and one here. The both of them is gonna actually meet up, you know. And these 2 trees that I have here, tree spinach, been here for the past 5-6 years. And I cut it down once it get too large. I cut it down, it grew back again. Cut it down, and it grew back again. That's it, yeah. So you plant this once, and you're gonna have it years and years and years. I said that the zones 8, 9, 10, 11, anywhere that's warm. Yeah, gonna have the perfect conditions to actually grow the chaya. You know, like regular pruning, that's why I prune it back. When it go up, I just prune it in a minute, you know. It helps the plant to actually just grow more bushy and more productive. That's how it is. So the more you cut it, the more vigorous it grows, you know. And you can harvest more leaves. Harvest it, if you get the tiniest bit of rain overnight, it's just like grow again. So just imagine a leafy green that you could just have all year round in your food forest or garden if you're in those 8, 9, 10 zones. Let's talk about something that's the health benefits. I know a lot of people you eat because we want certain health benefits from the food. You know, chaya, they consider it a superfood, you know, because the leaves are rich in nutrients. You know, it contains what? Protein, calcium, iron, potassium, vitamin A and C. You understand? So imagine you getting a leafy green. Look at all the benefits. Heat tolerant, you could grow it on neglect. You know, you could cut it 1,000,000 times, you could grow even more vigorous. And then it contains all the nutrients that you actually need. You know? So, you know, in many cultures too, chaya has been used as a staple green leaf food, like certain parts of Africa, you know, South America, you know, Central America. It's a staple food. And so because it's something that grows year round and you always have food, and so as you cut it, it grows back lush, beautiful and ready to go again. In vlogs and Facebook, some gardeners even prefer this than spinach for some reason. Yeah, I like it. You know, I like it just as though I would like spinach. You know, but you know, people have them preference. Some people like, oh, I want my chaya. You know, the chaya is like, you know, so much better than spinach to them. And plus, it's easy to grow. That's the main thing. You know, it's so easy to grow. So we all want stuff that's not gonna give us a headache. We don't have to be spraying nothing. Guys, this chaya, I've never seen, you know, aphids and all that stuff on the chaya. Never seen it like that. So if you're trying to grow more food, your own food, you know, chaya is one of them reliable food source that you could actually add to your garden if you're in zone 8, 9, 10, 11, you know, any of those warm places. You could definitely add chaya to your garden. So yeah, we talk about how easy it is to grow, the climate it could grow, the zones it could grow in. But here is now one of the most important part about chaya, which you need to pay full attention to this. All right, yeah, this part is very important. All right, so you know, don't walk away from the video right now. You want to stay in tune to actually listen to this part. You should not, let me say that again, you should not eat chaya leaves raw. Should not be eaten raw at all. Never eat it raw. The leaves naturally, you know, contain a compound that need to be cooked before eating. Let me say that again. You should not eat chaya leaves raw, okay? You know, the leaves contain a compound that needs to be cooked before you consume this. Which, like plenty of other vegetables out there that you cannot consume raw, that need to be cooked. This is one of them that you need to be cooked. But you need this, you cannot eat this raw. All right, you know, that's one of the drawback. Yeah, spinach you could eat raw. This tree spinach you cannot eat raw. It contains a compound that requires you to cook it. All right, so, you know, but once cooked, they're completely safe. And people use them in soups, stews, eggs, smoothies, you know, after cooking. Or you saute it like spinach. This is after you boil it for that 20 minutes. You could then add it to other stuff. All right, so you cook it for that, you know, and you could go on the internet and read. There's a lot of documentations and stuff out there that you could read about that. See, you know, how easy it is to grow, you know, from cuttings, grow like a weed, you know. So I really think more people should be adding this to your backyard forest, food forest, your garden, everything. Some of the reasons why you should do it. It's productive, resilient, easy to propagate, and grows like a weed. Easy to grow and neglect. You could go on vacation. You'd have to be worrying about bugs eating up your stuff. You're gonna come back and it's ready to go. For gardeners in warm climates, especially for this is one of those plants that keep on giving. Keep on giving. But remember again, we're gonna say this again, guys. So again, if you're looking for a perennial leafy green, chaya is one of them, that you could actually add. You should watch the video before this. It's about kutuk. I'll probably pin that video right here that you could check it. Also, kutuk is another one, but chaya, and we're gonna have about 4 more that we're gonna actually add to this, series of stuff that grow beautifully, unneglected, in warm climates. All right, so let me know in the comments if you have ever grown chaya before, or this is your first time hearing about it. All right, so thank you so much for watching. All be blessed with peace, love, happiness, and kindness. I thank you guys so much for supporting the channel all through the years. Really appreciate you guys. All right, so thank you so much. One love. See you guys in the next video.